Blue at 800
Oh, a topic
444
for like the third or second segment
will find a
might
term
be
life
something
policy for
good.
you, even if you have
like
type
how to
2
find
diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term
like
providers
I guess
help
a
thousands
trusted
of people
contractor.
like you who think
Yeah.
they can't afford term life
There's
insurance.
just a post
To
I
buy
saw on
$1
a couple of
million
these real estate
of affordable
websites
term
about
life for
this
you.
guy.
All
It's
you
the
need
same
to
guy
do
that
is
took pictures.
call
They took
Big
pictures of him,
Lou
posted his
at
face on
800
Facebook
Yeah.
about how shady he is. He ripped off
Lou will
money.
make sure the scales are
Complete
tipped
the
in
work.
your
Yeah, there's a lot of that
Call
goes on.
800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
The following program, paid for by Right Path Real Estate, does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or ownership of this station. It's time to get on the right path with Right Path Real Estate Radio with Tom Perry. Get the answer to your question that's keeping you from taking action and succeeding today.
Welcome to the show.
Get ready. The guy that will put your fears behind you is on the air now. Taking calls at 716-785-1817. Toll free 877-881-0271. Now here's your host, Tom Perry.
Hot mics.
Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Right Path Real Estate Radio. 713-785-1817 is our call-in number. I'm live in the studio. It is Tuesday, October the 2nd. And I'm going to go straight to the phone lines. I've got Jennifer Hernandez is calling in on our live hotline. She's part of our team, the Hernandez team, Legacy Mutual Mortgage. For all your retail mortgage needs, give her a call, 713-579-3600. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Hey, Tom, thanks.
Hey, you're driving in this morning, is that right?
Yeah, I'm driving west to San Antonio to our corporate office. Have a meeting today and tomorrow. Just some of our top originators getting together on how we can just get more market share. It's hard. It's hard times right now out there. Everyone's going after the same peanut.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing about business that most people don't understand is that, I know that when a lot of people come into Right Path and they're looking to learn how to fix and flip or wholesale or even do buy and hold, it's primarily on the fix and flip and on the wholesale side. People are looking for the secret. What's the secret way to do this? And what I'll tell you is there's not really any secret. It's like, what's the secret for baking a cake? There's a recipe, there's a formula, you follow it, but there's also a mindset. And I've always said that anytime there's an industry that you find, if there's excess profits for any length of time, capitalism says that excess profits can't survive for a long period of time because competition will come in and say, hey, I'll do it a little bit cheaper, do it a little bit better, do it a little faster, whatever. So really it comes down to service. And in any business, there's quality, service, and price, right? And so when you're talking about money, money's kind of a commodity. So you're not really, your money's not better than someone else's money, right? It's the same,
Right.
but so you really are competing on service and price because you can't compete on quality because your product is money. You're giving other people money that they need to buy a house, right? So service and price are the two that you can compete on, and I know you can't be beat on service. I mean, you provide A+ service, and the trouble.
I appreciate that. It's hard though because there's just right now a lot of the bigger players are just buying the market, and then they have no service.
Right.
So because they can't keep up. I mean, it's impossible.
The trouble is that the lifetime value of your client is so short because, you do a transaction, you're in and out in 30 days, right? And they don't know that they didn't get good service until that 30 days is over. But when they're making the decision on the front end, and so if they have a bad experience, the thing that's interesting to me about the mortgage industry is because whenever we have a buyer that doesn't use you guys, we see how bad the other guys are. And But trying to describe that to a home buyer, they think, oh, my cousin, or my agent recommends this person or whoever, whatever it is. Anytime it's not y'all, we have a less than positive experience. And but what I recognize is that, okay, that person, they're gonna. In fact, it's 9 times out of 10 that when it's not you guys, then they do not hit their deadlines because they're so disorganized with their systems and processes internally that they don't order the survey on time, they don't order the appraisal on time, and they don't have systems and checklists in order to get that. And so then they constantly ask for an extension. And there's no penalty to them because they're not going to be held to any standard for causing that contract. There's the contract's between the buyer and the seller. And so when the lender doesn't perform, they're causing the buyer to go out of contract. And they don't seem to care about that because there is no standard. There is no regulation that says they have to. There is no business, consequence for not. So, what's the fix for all that?
So I do have a question for you about what you guys are seeing. Are y'all seeing that that there's just flooded inventory? Is there a lot of inventory of now all the investors have started these flooded properties, and if they're all hitting the market, it's just oversaturated?
I'm not, we've got a property. We found that there's one neighborhood that we have right now where there's little to no activity on flooded properties. The entire neighborhood flooded. And apparently all the homeowners, they weren't in a financial position to really turn the neighborhood around very quickly. And so they were all waiting on insurance money and all of that, in order to make things right. And some of them apparently didn't have flood insurance, et cetera, et cetera. And so there's one particular neighborhood that we think it's going to be May. We've got a house that's retail ready. And when we look back historically, there's only one house that's sold in the neighborhood in the last 6 months. And there's tons and tons of inventory. Yet when we look at a property like Castle Ridge, for example, that also flooded, on the same date. Now, and there are a few other properties, but not every house in that neighborhood flooded. There were a lot that did, but it's at a higher price point, and those homeowners were in a much better position to get construction going and all that. And we also did a bang-up job on the rehab, and it's a beautiful home and all of that. But, it's sold in the grand scheme of things really – we just lost her? We sold in the grand scheme of things really, that really, really fast. So hopefully she'll be able to call back. So she knows the number 713-785-1817, or maybe you can try and call her. So I can't see that we're seeing a flood of, that quote unquote flood of inventory coming on the market. We are starting to see right now a lot of houses that we're starting to see a lot of pre-foreclosures. I went out on a house. It was a lead that my brother got, and I went out and talked to the seller. And it's a situation where they got about 2 feet of water in the house. They demoed the house themselves. Dad's kind of a contractor. He did a lot of the work to himself on the weekend. And then what he did is they took the deferment. And what a lot of people didn't realize when they took the deferment, I think that they thought that, hey, you get a 90-day or 6-month deferment. That means you don't have to make a payment for 6 months, and then you just pick up with your, a month's worth of payments in month 7, for example. So let's say that, you get a deferment, the actual thing happened in August, you had extra expenses in August, you were displaced, whatever, you couldn't be in the house, water receded, you come back in, you start cleaning out all the muck. Maybe you made September's payment, maybe you didn't. Then maybe sometime in September, you go, oh, wow, your mortgage company contacts you, says you're in a flood-affected area. Let's not, let's give you a 6-month deferment so you don't owe October, November, December. Or maybe they rolled September in there, so you got September, October, November, December, January, February. Then come March, I think a lot of people, what they were expecting is, okay, make 1 month's payment in March and then make a payment in April. But they really wanted all 7 months payments in March. And so what we're seeing now is that was an aha moment for a lot of people, and the mortgage company doesn't normally take partial payments. It's like you got to get it caught up all at once, which, I mean, that puts people in a bad situation. And a lot of people we're seeing are going into foreclosure now that hadn't been in that situation before. And so that's what we're seeing, is that more inventory. And we're seeing that in a lot of the buy and hold space. There's going to be, if you're a buy and hold investor right now, there's going to be some incredible deals coming. And when I say incredible, it's hard to mess up buy and hold. You can mess up buy, fix, and flip. You can mess up wholesaling. It is really, really hard to mess up buy and hold. It's almost, I mean, you're not going to get in a situation, if you miss. Well, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're going to buy a $400,000 house. In other words, it's worth $400,000 when it's all fixed up. And, our formula, quick math is, let's say it needs $100,000 worth of work. Quick math, you're going to be in the $180,000 purchase range, which is 70% of the $400,000, which is $280 minus the $100. You're going to be buying it for about $180. If you can buy cheaper than that, you're building in more safety and security and all that. So if I make a mistake on that and I buy that house, instead of buying it for $180, I pay $210. Now I've cut my margins really, really tight, because out of that 30% discount, when I say 70% minus repairs, 10% of that's going to be closing costs when you sell the house. In other words, you'll walk away selling a house for $400,000, and it'll cost you $40,000 just to sell it. 3% for the buyer's agent, 3% for the seller's agent, 2% for closing costs, which is title insurance, escrow, doc prep, attorney fees, all that, and another 2% for what we call negotiation after the sale. Now, you've got 10% for your cost of money, your holding cost of money, taxes, insurance, utilities, HOA, all those kind of things. And those are, I mean, that's assuming that you have a 1%, per month cost of money. You could have more than 10% holding cost if you have a really long construction time, or if you have higher cost of money, those kind of things. But that only gives you a 10% profit, which is $40,000. I say only, I mean, that's $40,000. You do 4 of those a year, you're making $160,000 a year doing 4 flips a year, which is, I mean, how many people don't make $160,000 a year? Or you do 2 a year, you make 80. I mean, that's a good part-time job doing 2 flips a year, $80,000 a year. So we can teach people how to do that and the math on that. However, we're seeing that if you make a mistake on the buy on that, you don't recover. But if you make a mistake and buy a buy and hold wrong, I mean, you pay 10%, 20%, 10% too much. You buy a $150,000 house and you pay full retail, or maybe even you'll get bailed out. You hold a house for 5 years, it is worth way more than what you paid for it, even if you bought it wrong. You're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned. Have a great day. We'll be back after the break.
Mike's off.
Are you a realtor or seller that is concerned about the new TRID rules and closing on time? I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer at Legacy Mutual Mortgage, and we have mastered the 30-day close. We close on time, accurately, and with tons of communication. You'll have a dedicated team of a coordinator and a contract-to-close associate. Give me a call today at 713-579-3611, and let's talk about how we can help you on your next transaction. NMLS 514497.
Are you looking for an investor-friendly general contractor for your investment property? Then call Fast Track Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties. Whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab, we manage every aspect of a rehab from start to finish with a highly efficient, standardized process.
Over the last 6 years, Fast Track has completed over 700 projects, which has helped us to create our 3 keys to success. Use a detailed scope of work so that everything gets done, train and maintain quality crews so it gets done right, and complete the work in a proper order so it gets done fast.
No more managing it yourself, no more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992. Again, that's 832-742-9992, or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Hello, real estate investors. Do you need a lender that moves fast at the speed of a jet to fund your investment properties? Jet Lending will help you purchase properties quickly with as little cash out of pocket as possible. Jet Lending also sets up a repair escrow fund to help you with repair costs. Jet Lending has originated over 2,000 loans in Texas, valued at over $250 million. Jet Lending will help you evaluate your deals for free and give you feedback on value, cost of repairs, and potential loan amount. Jet Lending is your fast and friendly hard money source for first-time investors and seasoned professionals. Call 281-872-7800 or email us at info@jetlending.com. Oh, and don't forget about our famous Third Wednesday Super Investor Networking Meeting. Lots of fun, lots of great real estate talk. We'll see you there.
It's not too much to ask.
Time is money in a real estate deal. If your insurance company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes or binders? The agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. We're here for you. Are you a rehabber, wholesaler, buy and hold, or flipper? Bundling your properties on a single policy will help save time and money. Benchmark has been in business for over 10 years, and we insure over 30,000 properties. Contact Benchmark about our exclusive investor package. Call us and let us show you what we can do for you at 281-569-4353. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com. That's benchmarkbroker.com. That's 281-569-4353. Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next
All right,
Gen
we got
Appraisal.
20
Next
seconds.
Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate. We understand that investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth, but a comprehensive analysis of the market. Give Next Gen a call at 713-346-9911 or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
This is Business 1110.
All right, hot mics.
Hey, welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. So we were joined live via the hotline, but she's driving to San Antonio. So we were talking about what are the events that are affecting the real estate market right now. And so I know that Harvey was more than a year ago now. We passed the August time frame, and there's going to be some incredible buying opportunities during the next 30, 60, 90 days, I'd say up to the next 12 months. And it's going to happen. There's going to be some in the flip space, but there's going to be even more in buy and hold. So if you're not actively looking to buy real estate right now in the Houston market, then I think what's going to happen is you're going to look back 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I'm old enough to have lived through the 1986 real estate crash that was caused by the Tax Reform Act of 1986, that a lot of people may not be old enough to remember, that we used to have banks, and we had the FDIC that would, regulate banks, and then we had an FSLIC, which was the Federal Savings and Loan Insurance Corporation, that we had lots and lots of savings and loans. I mean, big savings and loans like University Savings was here in Houston. We had Ben Franklin Savings. We had all these savings and loans, and that's where most people went to get their mortgages from. But when the Tax Reform Act of 1986 happened, and there was other factors that happened all at that same time. That created a crash that wiped out all savings and loans in the country. There is no more savings and loan anywhere in the country. They got totally wiped out. That all got rolled up from the FSLIC into the FDIC. So now all that's being done through banks. Now, mortgages, still you go through mortgage companies. There's some banks that do mortgages as well that do them directly. So you've got mortgage companies that sell Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and then you have banks that do it, and then you have, the big national players and all that. But when I look at the buying opportunities that were available back in 1986, I mean, I know people that got crazy busy buying real estate, 86, 87, 88. If they knew what they were doing on buy and hold, they crushed it during that time period. Then I recognize fast forward to 2008, and when Dodd-Frank passed, that created, now prior to 2008, and there was a perfect storm. What would happen is you had a lot of, bad mortgage products were out in the marketplace. There were a lot of really, really bad mortgage products because you could essentially state that you made any income and there was no verification. You could state that you had any kind of job and there was no verification. You could state that you had any amount of money and there was no verification. Now, there was higher interest rates and all that kind of stuff because there was more risk for the investor. But you basically had a very poorly underwritten loan that was not verified at all. And that created another whole scenario that said, that these people that had mortgages, I mean, they were set up to fail. People that shouldn't have been borrowing money to buy a house were borrowing money to buy a house, and it was insured by the federal government, essentially. And so we know about the crash then, but what it meant for the investor is that if you had the opportunity, you had cash, because that's really what dried up was the financing. Is that if you had cash and you could go in and buy 2008, 2009, 2010, there were some incredible buying opportunities. I know a lot of investors that built portfolios 2008, 9, 10, 11 in that 3-year span of time. And I believe that what's going on in Houston right now, post-Harvey, that you're able to buy houses right now. I mean, there's a neighborhood that I know of that I believe that these houses will be $500,000 and $600,000 houses a year from now, that they need work. Maybe they need $100,000 of the work, but you can buy them for $200,000, $225,000 per house. Means you're all in for $325,000 fixed up on an asset that a year from now. Now you got to be able to hold it a year. And a lot of investors don't. But I mean, we're looking at being able to buy 25, 50, 100 of these houses and be able to hang on to them for that period of time. And we know investors that are actively doing this right now. So when we're talking to Jennifer Hernandez about what is the situation going on with the mortgage business, yeah, I think that there's certain neighborhoods that are not actively going in. And I also think that when you're in the mortgage business, that when rates are at 3.5%, and they've been they've been really, really low for a long period of time, that as rates start creeping up, that if someone else, if people think in their mind, rates are at 3.5%, and they start going to 4.5 or 4.9, which historically is still record lows. I mean, I remember when I bought a house, mortgages were in the mid 7s. I mean, you were getting a good rate if you got 7.25, and then that lots of people made a lot of money through the refinance and all of that. So, well, that's interesting. Huh. Well, so I don't know what just happened there. My computer just logged out of Facebook for some reason. There we go. Now we're logged back in again. So anyhow, I believe that one of the best buying opportunities that you could have right now is buying single family for buy and hold, or buying flip houses that you can afford, and especially in flooded areas that you can keep for a year. Now, they say all real estate is local real estate. So in the Houston market, I think that, there's some areas that I would still stay away from. I mean, like, I'm not a big fan of Meyerland, for example. I think that it's going to take a developer or a builder to go in and to be able to buy an area like Meyerland and be able to take on, a lot of properties. And I think that the price point is going to need to be not the $300,000 that that HCAT has it at, but I think it's going to have to be in the $100,000 to $125,000 a lot price. And a lot of people don't know how to do the math, working backwards from what's my target price. It's one of the things that we teach at Right Path is how do you start with the end goal in mind, that that this is what I think the property is going to sell for when it's all finished. This is my predicted future value, and then subtract out, this is my selling cost, and this is my holding cost, and this is the profit that I'm going to make, and this is what my construction is going to cost. And then you can back into, this is what my lot value is going to be. And if you can do that, if you don't know how to do that, then you need to come on in and come to one of our weekend events, because we talk about that at our weekend event, our wealth and income workshop, and then our weekend workshop. That's an all-day Saturday, all-day Sunday. It's typically the third weekend of the month. Where you probably need to start is, we'll see, what do you do with the houses you hold for a year flips? Lease it for a year, then sell it? Yeah, so I've got one right now. I'm actually going to put it on Airbnb. I'm going to go out and buy some furniture for it. What I would normally do a lease, except for if I lease it right now we're in, October? And I think to try and lease it, I want to be able to put it on the market in May, so I hit the May, June, July, August buying season. So I wouldn't lease it for a year, and I think it's going to be hard to lease it for shorter than a year. And I think that I can make more money from a cash flow standpoint renting it by the room as opposed to renting the entire house. So I'm going to do an Airbnb between now and next May. I think it'll be about 90 days to get it up to where it's, if I get even close to break even, and really if I can cover half of my holding costs, because my holding costs are my taxes, my insurance, my utilities, and the HOA, and then also my cost of money, because I've got a private money lender on this. And so I had a conversation with a private money lender. I'm going to be making monthly interest payments, and she's in favor of the plan. But here's the issue: like, I've got the property on the market right now. It's been on the market like $430, and it's had a lot of showings, but nothing's really moving in this neighborhood. And I believe if I hang on to it between now and next May or June, I believe that the price is going to bounce back to like 500. And so if it goes to 500, then it's going to be, right. I'm going to make an extra $70,000. In fact, it's probably going to be more than that, because it's pretty clear that the house is not even worth $430 right now. If it were worth $430, then it would obviously be selling. And in fact, when you listen to people and investors, if there's a house not selling in the marketplace, there's only one reason: you haven't found the right price. And oftentimes what will happen is investors, the very first house that we ever lost money on, we had done over 100 flips, Jason and I, in Houston House Buyers. And we lost the very first one that we lost money on. We lost $55,000. And the reason why we lost $55,000, we bought it right, we did the right rehab, all of that. What we didn't take into consideration, one is we didn't discount it enough because of like the ARV that we selected. And we were very, very conservative. In fact, we actually brought in 2 real estate agents, one real estate agent that actually lives in the neighborhood that says, man, there is no way this property will sell below this number. And that's the number that we used, because she ran her comps and all that kind of stuff. But there's a difference between how an agent runs comps and the way an investor needs to, and it's the reason why I use a term called predicted future value. Predicted future value is really, you as an investor have to look at what's the number that you can count on that you can sell it for in less than 90 days. And that's going to be different than what an agent's going to do in terms of looking at comps. Because an agent, when they look at comps, they're going to put in square footage, year built, number of bedrooms and bathrooms. But there's some things unique to your house. Like, for example, this house built that we lost $55,000 on, it backed up to a busy street. Now, it had the backyard on the house had one of those big, commercial brick walls, right? So, and that brick wall buffered some of the noise. It's not the kind of preformed concrete walls that back up like on the Beltway, for example. But it also wasn't a street as busy as the Beltway. It actually backed up to like a Tascasita Boulevard, which is pretty busy, and there was a college on the other side. Hey, the music says I'm out of time for right now. Stay with me. We'll continue talking about real estate and how you can build a better future through real estate. You're listening to RightPathRealEstate.com, 713-785-1817, 713-785-1817.
Mic's off.
Did you know that there are over $24 trillion in retirement accounts in the U.S.? Imagine if you could use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much more. Many of our clients loan money from their IRAs to fund real estate deals all over the country. We don't sell any investments or give advice. However, we do hold free networking events, weekly educational classes, and free consultations with an IRA specialist. For more information, visit our website at questira.com or call us at 1-855-FUN-IRA.
I can see through you.
To tap into the $24 trillion
Would you stand or sit?
accounts in the U.S., call Quest IRA at 1-855-FUN-IRAs or go to our website, questira.com.
You need more room. Hey, Nikki, I've got Daniel's going to join in on the rest of the conversation. Do you want to do a quick mic check with him?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, Daniel. Talk.
You can if you want. Go ahead. I think they're both the same link because they both plug in. So you're going to be on headset 3? Okay.
Hey, Nikki, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Turn your volume up a little.
How about that? Go for it. And let's tilt that there. Yeah. All right. Talk now.
Mic check, mic check.
How's he?
Go ahead and talk again.
Hey, Nikki, hey, Nikki, hey, Nikki.
Oh, turn it down a little bit.
Okay. Now?
Hey, Nikki, hey, Nikki, hey, Nikki.
You're good, you're good.
Awesome.
Yeah, Andrew, you like that? A green shirt on the green screen? Yeah.
That's foundationcheck.com.
Hi, Clint Coons here, attorney and avid real estate investor. You know the greatest mistake
You want to see mountains come through you?
is not understanding the potential liability that exists from owning real estate. At Anderson Business, Legal, and Tax Advisors, we specialize in protecting real estate investors in all 50 states. In addition to structuring your business for optimum protection, we provide guidance so you pay the least amount of taxes available under the law. We have 150 employees that range from lawyers to CPAs to estate planners and much more. Download our free ebook, The Invisible Investor Strategy, today at AndersonAdvisors.com or call for a free risk reduction analysis and financial blueprint at 800-706-4741. Anderson Business Advisors will help you keep more of what you earn. Call us today at 800-706-4741 and mention Right Path Real Estate.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started.
This is not logged in there.
Yeah.
Does that matter?
Is a group of appraisals
I don't.
specializing in
It's
investment
like it
real
keeps
estate.
resetting. I don't know
understand
why it does that.
Investors aren't just looking for a number of what their property is worth.
I don't
but a
know what's doing that.
comprehensive analysis of the market.
I don't know if somebody's
Next Gen a call at 713-346-9911,
jacking with the page somewhere. Or I don't know
check
what's going
us out
on.
online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Real estate investors.
30 seconds.
If
Yep.
you're not familiar with Quest IRA, let me tell you what you're missing. We've got free weekly educational classes, networking opportunities, and the ability to tap
yours?
into trillions of
Yeah.
dollars for your real estate investing
Yep.
deals. Come by our office or join us remotely as we simulcast all of our educational classes every Tuesday morning and
You might wanna
evening.
turn
For more information,
your volume
call us
off.
at
That makes sense.
Yeah.
1-855
Otherwise, you'll.
IRAs or visit our website at questira.com.
Is that your water?
It's not.
Yeah. But it's full if you want it.
There you go.
Okay. That always has such a quiet lead in that. This.
All right, gentlemen. Hot mics.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Here's what happens if you're in the office when we're doing the radio show. You might just get dragged in onto the radio show. So
Kicking and screaming.
Yeah. Wouldn't exactly
Kicking
say
and
that.
screaming.
I don't know that I could drag you in kicking and screaming. if you don't want to come
it's
in.
like the puppy in the window staring at Tom, right?
Right.
What does he see me? Does he see me?
So I want to welcome my good friend and my brother from another mother, Daniel Gollinger. He chose to wear a Right Path green.
Didn't know I was going to get called in
on the green screen.
Yeah,
so green on green. It's not exactly the exact same color green.
No.
But you know what's interesting is you can point to Mount Everest right there, and that's kind of weird, just kind of looking at it right there. So
somewhere in this area.
So let's talk about real estate. You've been involved in real estate for how long?
Going on 3 years.
That's a pretty good while.
No, I guess it's September was 3 years.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So 3-year anniversary.
3-year anniversary. Yeah.
Okay. Now you help people. Now, just full disclosure, you're part of Draco.
Absolutely, Draco Properties.
And Andy and Andre, they met through Right Path. They were students.
That's where I met them as well.
In fact, an interesting story is a lot of people come into Right Path with a partner, a business partner. And then what you help people, because you're always in our weekend events.
Absolutely.
And you help people, because it's an application process to go on beyond the weekend. We do have other levels beyond the weekend that we talk about at the weekend, and you help people decide, and you're basically help interview them as well. But what percentage of people would you say that start out as partners, stay partners within 90 to 180 days of joining Right Path?
So I got to say,
I know it's a guesstimate.
Family members aside.
Yeah, right. No, you're not going to fire.
If you're not married to your partner or you didn't give birth to them, that sort of thing. 90 days, I'd say you're probably at about a 50% rate. But I think if you get into 6 months, I think
5% maybe stay partners.
Maybe 5%.
I'm trying to think of a single group that came in as partners.
We haven't had one that's made it through the first year,
right,
as partners. Now we've had people become partners,
right,
in their first year, because what you realize is
in fact, you put the caveat in there of family members. And I'm
even
trying
seen that break up.
I'm trying to think. We've had father-son break up. We've had like Andy and his brother came in as partners, and they broke up. And then Andre came in without a business partner, but then Andy and Andre joined up because they're basically saying, "Hey, we're both kind of doing the same thing. Couldn't we do more together than we could do apart?" And that's one of the things is we always look to build win-win relationships. And, I've always been a firm believer of Zig Ziglar's Zigism. You help enough other people get what they want. Yeah, and
absolutely.
Yours is an automatic. And so if you go in, and again, this is a relationship business. And we've seen, number one reason why I see partners come in as partners is one guy's got money. And really, he's already worked a lot, and he's
absolutely
gotten his money. He really doesn't want to work as hard anymore. He's not motivated by money anymore because he's got money. He wants to be on the I side of things and be more of an investor, and so he wants to put his money to work. Then another guy comes in. He hasn't ever made his money yet, right? He's a hard worker, and he wants basically sweat equity. And those two guys partner up, and they've been friends. Oftentimes they're high school friends or they're college friends, or this. You don't understand. We really know each other. This guy was the best man in my wedding, and I'm like, yeah, you don't understand.
Doesn't matter.
You don't really understand the math yet. And when you understand the math, it's destined to fail from the get-go. And wouldn't you rather know that on the front end as a...
And, it's to the point now where I'm so confident in that statistic that when I sit down with partners, we're to the point now where we hardly even let them in, right?
Yeah, right.
It's got to be a special case.
Yeah, right.
And in the interview process, when I say, hey, we'd love to have you both, but the fact of the matter is you guys won't be together.
In fact, at this last weekend event, we had two young ladies that wanted to be partners. And not necessarily one person had a lot of experience and has done deals before. The other person has more money, but has not done any deals.
Yeah.
But it's not really whether you've done deals or not, because we've had people that have joined us that have done 400 real estate transactions before, and then we have other people that have done, not very many real estate transactions at all. And you put those two together, and it's like we can take a brand new person, we can take a very experienced person, and there's a system and a process. Really,
absolutely.
It's like it doesn't really matter where you're starting. It does matter. Don't get me wrong. It's like how much do you have to learn to get to the starting point, right?
Yeah, your map's going to look a little different.
And then where are you trying to get to?
Absolutely. I think another thing that we fail to realize too is as you get deeper into this business and you become goal oriented and those sort of things, is to have two people year after year set out a set of goals and to have those stay aligned year after year. And so let's say both of them, a partnership comes in, neither one of them have the finances, but they're both working hard, right? So what is your mindset? Your mindset shifts as you become successful, right?
Right.
So your goals when both of you didn't have any money were to get money.
Right.
So
Right.
y'all aligned together on that and y'all got after it.
Right.
Now that you've both got money, chances of those goals still lining up.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you find success in a partnership,
Yeah.
at some point it's going to go a separate direction because as you grow as a person and your outlook on life changes, it's just, kind of one of those things.
Yeah, it's a little bit like even twins aren't identical, right?
Absolutely.
And so for two people to be aligned exactly the same with the same amount of money, the same time commitment, the same family commitments, the same energy commitments, it's like all of those things. Because if you're unequally aligned in any of those areas, I feel like what Jason and I had, from 2013 until just about 2 weeks ago was so unique in that
it was special. Absolutely.
Right, exactly.
And still is because you guys are still aligned on so many other things, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And it's just not too often you see that kind of alignment, and a lot of it has to do with the character of both of you guys, right? And for me, that's where the core of it starts. If the characters aren't aligned, like if both of you don't have a certain ethical foundation to build on, you can never build a solid partnership. But I think that was what was special about you guys.
One of the things that we talk about in terms of partnerships is that the only reason why you should partner with someone else in real estate, because the real estate itself is a self-collateralizing asset, right? So if you're buying it right, the money you can find.
Yes, absolutely.
And so you would never want to partner just because of the money. So then, like when Jason and I started July of 2013, we bought 7 houses in the October, November, December. Now, I've always asked the question, hey, could I have bought half of that many? 4 or 5?
Yeah, so could he.
Yeah, right. But the next year, we did 67 houses.
A little bit different.
And so if two partners come together, the only reason why it makes sense is if you can accomplish more together than double what half of,
the whole has to be greater than the sum of the parts, right?
Right.
And so it's very similar with Andy and Andre when those guys. So they were very competitive with each other, right?
Sure.
And they spent so much time, putting a target on each other's backs. They finally aligned and realized, hey, together we can put targets on some much bigger backs, right?
Yeah.
So
at the time before they joined up, about how many deals was Andre doing a month or a year? Do you know?
His first year in Right Path, I think he was almost a year in before they joined up.
Right.
I guess it was probably right about a year before they actually joined up. But he had really started seeing some success there in that last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Andy was doing a completely different business. He was flipping, right?
Right.
But he definitely brought a totally different knowledge set to the table.
Right.
Other than Andre did, but they're both really great at sales as well.
Right.
So they've definitely multiplied what they were doing singly,
right?
Together.
Well, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. It's one of the few places that it doesn't. In synergy,
it's 1 + 1 equals
3 or 4,
3 or
5,
4, maybe 5 or 6. Yeah, on
Right.
some months. So
Right.
Without a doubt, and that's what you're looking for, right?
That's the
because
only
if
reason
you
why
can do 5
partners-
and I can do 5, and we're doing 10 together.
Yeah.
I mean, we can hang out
Right.
anytime. We don't have to.
Right.
If we want to spend time together that bad, we can do that.
Right.
Without sharing our 5 each, it just doesn't make any sense.
That's exactly right. Yeah, if you're not, if I could do 5, you could do 5. If we're not doing at least 12, 13, 14, 15. In fact, you'd probably argue, is it even worth doing it to do 11, instead of 10?
Yeah.
I mean, it really needs to be, can you do 15, can you do 20, when each of us individually could do 5.
Absolutely.
That's when partnership starts to make sense. It should never be just about one person's bringing the money and the other person's, and then because of that. Now, if it's family, like we've got a husband and wife and a daughter that we know that they've been very successful,
Yes.
right? And that makes sense because it goes in. Dad's been providing the money. Mom wants to be now. Dad's, now that he's retired, he does it, and then the wife. But they're all three. Of course, they're aligned.
They're aligned, but they all have different roles in their business, which is
Absolutely.
awesome. And
Yes.
they're all really good in the areas that they're in, and I think
Right.
that's key as well.
Yeah.
If both if everybody in your business is good at one task,
right,
and you have to outsource everything else, what do you need that other person for? You need to find somebody that complements you,
Right.
For sure.
That's exactly
And that's
right.
what's great about those folks is they do that very well.
Hey, you're listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. I'm joined live in the studio with my good buddy Daniel Gollinger. And he works with us here at Right Path, and I dragged him into the studio to be a part of the conversation. Hey, you can give us a call if you want to ask any questions, 713-785-1817. A lot of people want to know, how do they get started with a relationship with Right Path? I love the message that you've got. We want to help people build legacies for many, many generations. And that's our goal and our mission. And we feel like that the best way to do that is through practical real estate investing. And the best way to do that is with a buy and hold. You know, we can do the math right now. Even if you're buying at retail with appreciation and with cash flow, it's doable to be able to get rates of returns where you're increasing to get outsized rates of returns without increasing your risk. You know, we're not making any kind of bold claims or anything like that, but we're seeing people making 30, 35, 40% rates of returns with minimal amounts of risk. And if that sounds like something you'd want to know more about, head on over to rightpathrealestate.com. Check out our free workshop. It's our wealth and income workshop. We've got one that's going on tonight. It's free of charge. It starts at 6. It's going to be over about 7:30. There'll be networking for like the first 15 or 20 minutes, and then the event starts live at 6:30. So come on out to that. Register for free. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned. We'll be back on the other side of the break.
Mike's off.
Thank you, Nikki.
Welcome. Have a good one, Daniel.
Oh, he's not leaving yet.
Yeah, why are you rushing me?
Why are you trying to get rid of him?
It's not cool.
Are you looking for an investor?
Sorry.
I was just saying thank you for all that you do. That's all.
Modeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Fast Track Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip rehab or a rental rehab. No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it.
So we were talking earlier, you were talking about the Dynamo game.
Yeah.
We got to do that this weekend.
Yeah, I saw on Facebook, yeah.
I've never been to a soccer game.
That's amazing. Isn't it?
Of course, I've watched some World Cup and things like that, but
being there live,
my good friend that I introduced you to, that one time we got together for drinks. I don't know if you remember or not, but he had a suite there, so we went and he said, "Hey, kid friendly," which typically when we go hang out with him, it's not.
Yeah,
so
right.
I was like, "Hey, cool." He's like, "Hey, we got a suite at the Dynamo game. Bring the kids. You can go get autographed, like the whole nine." It was pretty cool, and it's different because I've been in suites, at the Texans and the Astros and all these other things, but their suites are like in the middle.
Yeah, they are.
So you're like right there on the field.
Right.
It's so close.
Yeah,
they can hear you.
Right.
When you yelled, you could yell and they'll turn around. And they can hear you.
Yeah, right.
It was a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Plus, it was a good game.
Yeah.
So, almost what you would call a buzzer beater in basketball.
Yeah.
So,
right. Well, I love the stadium because you really are. You're right on top of the action. It's not like a 50,000 seat stadium.
Yeah, there's not a bad seat in the house.
There's
really.
not. It's a very smaller, intimate venue, and the soccer's exciting. I mean,
it was.
And you know what's amazing about soccer is there's even though it's a relatively low scoring game most of the time, especially when you start getting up. I mean, to score 2 goals in a match is over 90 minutes.
Especially when you get into the European leagues and things like that, where the skill level is just through the roof.
But just to watch, it's almost like it builds like you start seeing this. It's almost like if you ever watch the surf and you see a wave, how you can see the momentum just kind of building and building and building, and then it's almost like it crashes, and it's almost like you have this whole movement and you can see all the. And just to see it, and you're like,
Yeah. So I can tell you, seeing it live, you almost get a different perspective through TV.
Yeah.
I always knew they knew what they were doing.
Oh,
but there was a couple times where I saw the exact same play.
Yeah, right.
Right? And I never realized they were running plays out there before.
They
absolutely are.
Oh, yeah.
And
they're running plays
you're
in
right
football,
there in front of it, and you see it the exact same set of events happen 2 or 3 times in a row. You're like, okay, they're running the same play again.
Yeah.
Right? So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, you realize they run plays in football. You realize they run plays in basketball. Plays in baseball, I think it's more
Not so much. They call some signs for the pitchers. They send some runners, that kind of thing. They may do some shifts.
The shift, right? Yeah. Which is that's there's some purists in baseball that want to outlaw the shift.
Absolutely.
I think that's crazy.
It just it's always been available. Just because nobody ever did it before doesn't make it. I
mean, it's like I feel like you got 9 people out on the field. You get to place them anywhere you want.
You can. You can put all of them in right field if you want to.
You just put them all on the right field line.
Absolutely. There's no rule against that.
There's no rule against that.
There's no rule against that.
Yeah.
But after in today's day and age, what we can do with numbers and
Yeah,
things like that,
statistics,
we can say, hey, this guy is more likely to hit here, right? Let's move everybody that way.
Yeah,
So,
right. Yeah, but to see that in soccer when you've never really noticed it.
yes,
Yeah.
it really opened my eyes. It really did. I've seen so many games, but never noticed they were doing some repeat things.
Yeah, right. Hey, we don't talk just real estate during the breaks, guys. So for those of y'all following on Facebook, just feel free to join in the conversation. Hey, Steve.
We were just talking about you guys.
Yeah.
Better late than never, I guess.
Somebody, well, I wonder, did you tune in? Because
did somebody tell you they were talking about you on the radio?
Is that the law of attraction? That
I
we
guess
just
so.
spoke it out there
We
and
throw it out there,
and you,
and there he
you
is.
appear.
You know, they say you throw a stone into a pack of wolves.
And the one that hits, he barks. Oh, I love this. Turn it up.
All right, guys.
I'm a
hot
good Southern, a good old time Southern rock and roll kind of guy.
Yeah.
So, hey, so for those of y'all that are listening in Dallas, I'll actually be. In fact, both of us will be in Dallas tomorrow night. It's going to be at Gillies in southeast of downtown Dallas, and you know, it's amazing to me what people will use as an excuse to not go. Oh, but it's raining outside, or oh, it's so far, or what?
We're in Fort Worth. You know, so I'm going to go ahead and while we're here, since Tom brought that up, I'm going to put it out there real quick. I'll be there myself and our awesome AV guy Andy will be there. We're going to get there a little early because we like to get on the road and you know, do a quick stop at Buc-ee's and get there as soon as possible. So I invite you guys to come out. I would love to sit down and talk to anybody a little bit more about what we do at Right Path and things like that. So show up a little early. Ask for Daniel. I would love to sit down. There's some couches there before the show starts. We can chat about your business and talk about what it is you're trying to do. Because once the show starts, obviously, you know, it gets a little harder to have those conversations. But I would love to have anybody in Dallas or the Fort Worth area come out and let's have a chat.
Yeah, so we'll be there. So find it on Meetup. You can also, I think we have a link on our Right Path page for the Gillies event. Is that right? Or just go to Meetup. Maybe. It's on Meetup. Yeah,
Meetup
definitely go
for
to
sure.
Meetup. Look for the Dallas Gillies event, and so we'll be there. And then we also have the event tonight. That's our free wealth and income workshop. We have the same event on Thursday. If it's not convenient for you to come tonight, now I will tell you this: action takers are the people that say, "When is the next event?" And I'll be there no matter what. And I've had people, oh, but I couldn't get there because of traffic. You know, I'm like, yeah, really? You're going to use that excuse in Houston, Texas?
So those excuses I find are a lot harder to get by when you're talking
laughable.
to action takers, right?
Yeah, right.
You know, we were having a conversation this morning. We had some early morning meetings, and you know, you were telling me you wanted to learn about notes, right? So you
Correct.
found the guy.
Yep, found the
right?
guy, Scott Carson,
good
right.
friend of yours
Yep.
out of Austin.
Yeah. Okay. It's not on Meetup. It's on Eventbrite. Got it.
So you were telling me how, hey, you found the guy, and your first question was, hey, when's your next event?
Yeah, when's your next
And
event?
It was in San Jose.
Yeah, San
right?
Jose.
So
in 2 weeks.
2 weeks later, you were in San Jose.
Yep.
Right.
Now, I already had stuff on my calendar, but I moved those things because I made this as a priority.
Absolutely.
So I was like, oh, well, when's your next one after that? I mean, it's like, man.
So I've heard that story before. The part of the story that I haven't heard before that I heard this morning, which kind of blew my mind a little bit, was, hey, you can get so much in a weekend, right? But you know that your mindset changes. You have different ears to hear even after you've heard it the first time, which is kind of what some people do when they come to our weekend workshop as well. They need to come back a second or third time to kind of get it all. So you went 2 weeks later back out to California again to the same class without thinking twice in San Diego.
Right. Yeah. Hey, you've been listening to Right Path Real Estate Radio. Thanks for tuning in. Tomorrow I'll be live in the studio all by myself, and I'll be in Gillies tomorrow evening. Thanks so much.
All right, guys.